Good morning. My name is Brennan Agatani, and I will be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any visitors or new students here this morning? If so, welcome to our temple. Could those of you sitting near them help to find the proper pages for the sutras, gathas, and readings? Thank you. First, we'll have Sambujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by the sutra chanting, Juseige on page 23 in the little book, or page 93 in the big book. The page numbers for the sutra book will be displayed on the front screen and on your monitors at home, so please follow along.
고세간 희심을 줘도 싱한 품만속 세프 조셔가 가오물 여고 부이다이 세슈 부사이 쇼빙금 세프 조셔가 나시 좁은 놈 묘쇼 저지법 극혐이 쇼문 세부 조쇼각 리역 그진 쇼넨 조해슈 먹염 시금을 줘도 이쇼텐니시 진리기엔다이콤 부쇼무 사이도 쇼조산 금요 고사이슈야 근한 가이히치에겐 메시건 모한 에서그쇼아 그도 쓰나스는 슈몬 고소조만족 이여러지법 리치가스슈주기 갱콘 프겐 이슈카이 호소 고세그덕그호 조다이슈주 세포시시급 그요리 사이벗 그서크슈덕그혼 간내시트조만 고그이상가이오 묘무드무게집 쓰나스미 부쇼 강가 그에릭 도시사이쇼선 시한야코카 다이세노칸도 홍무쇼텐닌 도짐요케 신
We will now have the Gatha Amida's Shrine on page 34 in the small service book, followed by the Golden Chain, which is located on page 2 in the little book or page 15 in the big book under Golden Chain 1.
34. Each morning I awake to sing Amida's ways, so good and kind. I think he says, "Good morning, child. It's good to start a day with me." Each night before I go to bed, I sit before Amida's shrine with pretty flowers, candlelight, and incense crying round my head. I bow my head, I clasp my hands, and thank Buddha with all my mind. More teachings that will bring truth's light to many folks in many lands.
The Golden Chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Now we will have a Dharma lesson by Reverend Mikame.
Okay, would you please show me in Kansho? Place your hands together to heart center. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us from Hondo and at home. So today, I'd like to talk about the water we use in our daily lives. So let me share the screen. Okay. Oh, let's see. All right. Let's talk about the water. Can you see the? Oh, yes, full screen. All right. The water we use in our daily lives. Okay. Did you use water this morning? Raise your hand. Most all of you, right? Okay, and then what did you use it for? Washing teeth, brushing teeth, and then drinking, yes. What else? Yes. Drinking, yes. Wash face. Shower, yeah. Yes. Go ahead, the back. Hydrating, yes, yes, it's a new word. Okay, for me. Thank you. Yeah, and how much water do you think you use per day? Have you imagined? Yes. Have you imagined? Oh, apple gallons. Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, really? Okay. Let's see the answer. The average person in the United States uses 80 to 100 gallons of the water every day. Is it correct what you say? Right? Okay. And then it said that you use equivalent of 320 to 400 milk cartons of worth of water, or enough to fill the medium-sized aquarium. And have you heard of virtual water? It's, you have? It's not the water appears in the AI world or game world. Virtual water is water hidden in things we use or buy every day, like food or clothes. Now, do you think water is used for this too? Apple. Yes? Yeah. Maybe when glowing apples, water is used, and they will likely washed before being shipped. Okay? How about this one? How about this? Sutra book. Yes. Nah. Books originally come from trees. Yeah, yes, correct. It's in Japanese. And water is used growing trees. And I believe that lots of water is also used in the process of making paper. Just like this, lots of water is used to make these things, even though we can see it. So this water is very important because it helps create the products and services we use. But when we look at the finished products, it's hard to notice the water the water that was used. Then let's think at the out of box. Have you ever thought about how much water it takes to make a single plate of curry rice? Since we had the curry cook-off the last weekend. So have you thought about it? Have you imagined? And what ingredients? Oh, yes? 7 to 8 packets. Okay, right. So first of all, what ingredients are we needed to make curry? Have you cooked curry? Do you know how to cook it? What do we use? Rice? Potatoes? Carrots? Onions? Meat, yes. And so on. Okay. Yeah. And right. So yeah, and then water to cook everything together. And from my perspective, I think that it might take about 2 cups of water to make one plate of curry. I've never make the curry for that one single plate with curry. But all right. So all right then, based on the concept of virtual water, how much water do we think is used to make one plate of curry? Here's a quiz. A, 50 gallons. B, 290 gallons. C, 500 gallons. A, 50 gallons. B, 290 gallons. C, 500 gallons. Okay, the answer is B. Yeah, congratulations. Big loud applause to everyone who got it right. Yeah, based on the concept of the virtual water, it actually takes 290 gallons of water to produce single plate of curry. It's equivalent to amount of water in approximately 2,191 bottles of 70-ounce bottle water, and as much as water as the large aquarium in aquarium facility. Can you believe that? It's a lot. That's because curry rice is made with meat, vegetables, and spices and oils. And producing those ingredients requires water. For example, rice fields need water, and cows need water. Cows or pigs or chicken need water to drink, and vegetables need water to grow. And when we look at the process from the beginning, we see just how much water is used. I first learned about the virtual water through the Japanese comic book. In the story, there was a young man who struggled with a relationship and felt burdened even by the kindness from others. He closed himself off from the world, but his mentor gently told him about the virtual water. Hey, most people do not notice the invisible water hidden behind our daily lives, but if you imagine it, the world feels bigger. The world is so much larger than you think. This line left a deep impression on me. It's true that even if we don't know about the virtual water, we can still eat curry rice. But knowing about it changes how we think about each bite. It makes us appreciate it more. In the same way, we can live our lives without knowing about Buddhism, but learning about it can completely change how we see our lives. Buddha's teachings go far beyond what we can imagine. Shakyamuni Buddha tells the vast boundless story of Amida Buddha, who embodies infinite life and compassion. Amida Buddha spent countless ages creating a way to revelate all living beings and continues to tirelessly guide each of us to the path, no matter the time or the place, with the infinite and universal life. From the perspective of the universe, I might seem like a tiny, invisible speck. Yet, there is a Buddha who works tirelessly for each and every one of us, as if solely for me, for you. This Buddha takes the form of Namo Amida Butsu, embracing my life and guiding me to the enlightenment beyond compare. So, though I cannot see it, this Buddha's boundless compassion fills my life and your life completely. So our lives are always supported and warmed by the compassion, which is much, 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 much bigger than our imagination. So let us express our gratitude for the boundless compassion by reciting the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Would you please join me in Kansho? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda. Thank you. Arigato.
Thank you, Reverend Mikame. We will now have Gatha farewell on page 45 in the Little Service book, followed by the promise located on page 5 in the Little book, or page 15 in the Big book.
Dharma school is over for another day. Let us gather round the shrine, bow our heads and say, thank you, teacher, for your help. Thank you, everyone. Buddha's love will keep us safe till our work is done. just with their happiness, faith in Buddha brings. Now it's time to say goodbye till we meet again. Namo Amida Butsu, sing this right refrain. Namo Amida Butsu, sunny day or rain. Namo Amida Butsu, shining faith remain. Namo Amida Butsu, till we meet again.
The promise. We thank Buddha for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Reverend Jones, Miss Rakizuki, Miss Tanabe, organist Miss Tsuchimoto, and AV coordinator Mr. Uenaka. Are there any announcements?
Good morning. I'm Mei Kawamoto, Dharma School Superintendent. Another week, we will ask the fourth grade class to please join the second and third grade class. So it's the room right next door. The other announcement was an email was sent out to announcements. So if you did not get that, can you let me know? Because I don't know who's receiving them and who's not. But the thought is to have a quick Mochitsuki planning meeting after the service today in the multipurpose room. So if you have a minute to join and think you can help out during the event, would appreciate it if you join us. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hopefully everyone has a good Thanksgiving with lots of turkey, stuffing, and whatever else you eat during that day. And then remember that you might have gained some weight and need to work it off. So come join us on Sunday, December 1st, for our soul line dancing class, okay? And then you can work off some of the food that you may have gotten and work it out of your system. So join us on Sunday, December 1st at 11:30. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. 2 weeks from today, on December 8th, I think Rinban's going to announce the Bodhi Day service, but later that afternoon at 3 o'clock is our annual meeting. It'll take place, if you want to see it in person, in the Hondo here, like usual, but you can also view it on Zoom or whatever we're using to do it online. The link is available on the Dharma newsletter. It should also be available on the Betsun website. Thanks. And happy Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday.
December is going to be a lot of changes in our Sunday service schedule. Next week is the 1st, and there will be only a family service at 10 o'clock. And then the following week, the 8th, is our Bodhi Day service, and that service will be conducted in the annex, and that'll start at 10 o'clock as well. Then the following week, the 15th, will be Dharma School Mochitsuki. There'll be both a 9:30 service and a 10:10 service, but that's our only kind of regular scheduled Sunday. But that's Dharma School Mochitsuki. So I think the Dharma School students are actually going to go make mochi. So, and that's the 12th. Then the 15th, excuse me. And then the following week, the 22nd and the 29th, there will be only the family service at 10 o'clock. So next month, the first is one service at 10 o'clock. The 8th, again, one service, Bodhi Day, Annex building in the annex. And then the 15th is Mochitsuki, a regular service schedule. Then the 22nd and the 29th, both days will be just one service, family service at 10 o'clock. So only the 15th is a day where we gather together for a regular 9:30 and 10:10 service. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
so yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's service, this morning's 10:10 service. My name is Paul Endo, and I will be your chairperson for this morning. Before we begin this morning's service, just a reminder, there is no food or drinks in the Hondo, and please turn off your cell phones or put them into silent mode. Do we have anyone who is here for the first time? Anyone new? Oh, would you like to introduce yourself?
Morning. Mark. I was actually born and raised in this area, and this is my first time I had a service at this time.
Thank you, Mark. Welcome. Is there anyone else? Well, thank you all for coming this morning. Let's see. We will begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large service book. That's this one. Followed by sutra chanting Junirai, which will be on page 20 in the small service book, and page 67 in the large one. The page numbers for the sutra book will be displayed on the front screen over there, on the monitors at home and on the monitors at home. So please follow along. Thank you.
Namanda, 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 namanda.
悪徳自在子が将来皆尊実法名門菩薩衆無料小魔女三段一生修上願力中子が将来皆尊本大表現中小慶全言少女名大座おひざ上女仙の子が将来皆尊実法将来勝負し権限順図し百戦後尊厳上業子が将来皆尊小無常無我と薬入水月天よろ一種説法無名字子が将来皆尊一尊無説無悪名薬無如に悪道不修品死心教依尊子が将来皆尊一尊無料勉強無少種悪知識往生不大小もない子が将来皆尊仮説非尊功徳寺修善無縁如海水小薬善言少女者衛生宗
could you please rise now for the Gatha, The Texture of Life, on page 94 of the small service book. Please, please remain standing for the three treasures on page 3 in the small service book afterwards. Okay, you can go now.
The texture of the life to be, we weave in colors all our own, and in the realm of destiny, we reap as we have sown. We make ourselves the joys and fears with which the coming life is made, and fill alone our future spheres with sunshine or with shade. We live our present lives again with memory warm or boldly dim. The pictures of the past remain, man's work shall follow him. You please turn to page 3 in the Dharma School Service Book and join in the reading of the three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, and now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves our supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of their doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal brotherhood, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you. Please be seated. Oh, sure. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Now please give your attention to Rinban Sakamoto, who will deliver this morning's Dharma talk.
Thank you, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's service, and to those who are joining us from home, welcome. We encounter many things in our lives, and often, well, maybe not often for some of us, but for myself, sometimes I have difficulty understanding what I'm experiencing or seeing or hearing. And at home, I keep saying my hearing is going bad. And I've started to using AirPod Pro 2s because they're supposed to be good for loss of hearing. So they're over-the-counter hearing aids that I started using. I tried the AirPod Pro last year's AirPod Pro, which was also kind of rated as a hearing aid, but it hadn't been certified, I guess, by the FDA. But this latest version of the AirPod has been, and apparently, well, for me, it works well under certain circumstances. So if you see me wearing my AirPods, I'm actually trying to listen, not listen to music, but hearing the conversation. And before I started doing that, even now though, I still misunderstand often what I'm the conversation of people. It's not what I'm hearing. They're talking about something else, and I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting, but it's really something else. We encounter many of these kinds of experiences in our lives. Well, at least I do. I encounter these kinds of experiences in our life. How do we know what we're seeing is actually what is being expressed or what is being shared? And this is, it goes back, of course, to the time of Shakyamuni Buddha. In Japan, there was a time when priests would walk through the country. They would follow paths and roadways and sharing the Dharma. And one way that they would find lodging, they would go to a temple, and the practice was you would face the head of that temple, and you would have a conversation. And then if the conversation went well, then you were allowed to stay. I don't know if there ever was a time when the conversation went poorly, when they would kick you out, go to your next temple, you're no good here. But there was this one temple where the head minister had a new, kind of new student working with him, and the new student would do cleanup and do sutra chanting, do all of the kinds of things that you would necessarily need to know how to do in order to manage a temple or live in a temple. And he was a young student and not really well trained yet. And so when a traveling priest came to this temple, the head minister decided to allow this new student to try and have this conversation with this traveling monk. These monks used to be called unsui. I don't know if they're still called unsui. I did not know what that word unsui really meant when I selected my email. So my old earlier email was unsui@fogbank.com. But unsui is like cloud water. So they would float, through the country, going from one place and sharing the teachings of the Buddha, staying at temples when they could. And so when this priest came to this temple, the senior minister of that temple encouraged that young student to go and have this conversation with this traveling monk. And so they sat down together, facing each other, and the first thing, without a word, once they were seated and settled, without a word, the traveling priest, held up 3 fingers. And so the young monk sat there looking, thinking about it. And so he held up 2 fingers. And the traveling monk saw that and wow. So his response was he held up 1 finger. There's not a word being exchanged. It's just these 2 priests facing each other, having this wordless conversation. I guess maybe kind of like Mahakashpa when he held up the flower that many years earlier with Shakyamuni Buddha. But when the young priest saw the visiting priest hold up 1 finger, he quickly responded by holding up no fingers. And so they quietly, they bowed to each other, and the traveling priest left. But as he was going out the gate, the senior minister ran after him and said, wow, that's amazing, what happened? He said, well, your student is brilliant, and I was unable to successfully challenge this conversation that we had, and I wasn't able to, I won't be able to stay because I wasn't able to challenge this conversation. And the senior monk said, oh no, don't worry about it, please come in and please stay as long as you like. And he was so surprised. He asked this traveling monk, what was it? What was this conversation that you had? And he said, well, it wasn't really a conversation, a verbal conversation, but as we sat down and settled in, I held up 3 fingers. The teachings of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, these are the 3 treasures of the Buddha. And your student said, there is only samsara and nirvana, and how to cross over from samsara to nirvana. So he held up his two fingers. And I thought, yeah, no, that's true. But essentially, there is only one. There's no division, there's no separation between samsara and nirvana. There's only one. To which your student held up a closed fist, indicating that everything is empty. And the senior priest was so impressed with what he had heard from this traveling priest that he said, wow, thank you very much, but please, you don't have to leave, please stay. And he went over to his student after the traveling priest kind of settled in, and he went over to his student priest, and he said, wow, there's a remarkable conversation that you had with this traveling monk. And I am really impressed by this conversation you had. And the young student was so angry. He said, when we sat down and we started to have this conversation, he held up three fingers. And I have just one eye, but he held up three fingers. He said, between the two of us, we have three eyes. I have two, you have only one. And then I thought, oh, okay, I'll say you have two eyes. And so I held up two fingers. And then he said again, he held up one finger saying, you have only one eye. And then I had to respond. I said, you better leave before I do something drastic. So that was the end of the conversation. But the same experience, just sitting apart from each other, experiencing the same conversation, a totally different interpretation of what had transpired. I think it's perhaps a lesson that we can take as we engage the world. What are we hearing? How are we listening to the world around us? There is, in Jodo Shinshu, we are always reminded to listen. The chrysanthemum reminds us of that, because in Japanese, chrysanthemum is kiku. But kiku is also to hear, to listen. And listening is really important, because there can be these misunderstanding or opportunities for us to mishear. Or it's not just hearing, right? It's what we're seeing and experiencing that can be misunderstood or not understood clearly. To listen and to hear, very important. Sometimes we want to talk more than we want to listen. We want to explain more than what we need to hear. And so sometimes we interrupt and we say, no, that's not right. Without really, and I don't think we do that with the intention of being wrong. I think we do that with the intention of knowing that, or thinking that we know what's being expressed. And so we try to communicate, and we try to convey what we understand. But to listen is so important, I think, in Jodo Shinshu, but certainly in Buddhism. It's not always saying what I know, but it's also being able to listen and to hear with our whole being. Sometimes when we don't understand, we might express ourselves. And if we are able to engage in a conversation, then there's an exchange that can take place, that we can learn from, that we can grow from that experience. But if we're in a position where we know what is, and we are unable to really hear or listen, then we may not be able to understand what is transpiring at that time. So this simple conversation between this traveling priest and this young priest at this temple is an example of how just holding up hands can be misunderstood, totally, completely opposite of what is being expressed. The traveling monk was really impressed with this young man's priest. I mean, he thought, wow, brilliant priest. But that was because, his understanding was of this, what was being expressed. His understanding was that the conversation they was having was remarkable. But from the priest side, thinking, oh man, this guy's a terrible person. We should get rid of him. But neither side thoroughly understanding what the other was saying. There was also another practice, a story of some young priest coming to a temple and saying, I want to learn the Dharma. Can you teach me about the importance, about everything about the Dharma? I want to learn. And that's a good thing to do. You come to a school, you come to a temple, you come to a place that is sharing information, and you come with that enthusiasm to learn. And so the priest was saying, the student was saying, I want to learn everything you know, everything, absolutely everything you know. And I want to be able to share what you have taught me with others. And I want to be able to do this with my whole being. And so the teacher asked, okay, please sit down and we'll have a conversation. And so let's have some tea and have this conversation. So they brought some cups out and a pot of tea. And they started to have this conversation. And the student was telling this teacher how much he really appreciated the teachings, and how much he knew about the teaching. And all that he learned about the teaching was so important to him that he wanted to learn and he wanted to experience so much, and kept telling the teacher what he wanted to learn and how important it was to him. And the teacher in the meantime was pouring the tea for the student as the student was talking. And as the teacher poured the tea, the cup started to fill up and then began to overflow onto the tray. And the teacher kept pouring the tea into this cup of tea, into this teacup. And the tea kept overflowing, and suddenly the student, realizing what the teacher was doing, said, stop, the cup is overflowing with tea. And the teacher said, that's just like you. No more information, no more space for information. No more tea will go into the cup. Yeah, that too, right? Listening, how we listen is really important. If we listen with understanding that, like this student, there are things I know, I want to learn. This is what I want to know. This is what I want to learn. Maybe there's not enough room for new information to go in. How we listen is really important. I think beginner's mind, it was a kind of a saying that was very popular in Zen. I think D.T. Suzuki may have made that popular. But beginner's mind, to begin with, when we think of somebody truly learning something new for the first time, there's no information, there's no pre-existing information, and you are open to anything, to all possibilities. And if we can live our life in that way, it makes things more possible, rather than kind of blocking ourselves into a certain way of thinking that we are unable to really see or hear outside of that we are unable to really appreciate what we're hearing, what we're experiencing, what we're listening to. It has become a very kind of serious, important problem in our times. We talk about being siloed into our groups, our bubbles, that we can't hear beyond that silo. All of us are living in our own world or our own community, and unable to hear or speak beyond that. It's a real challenge for us, I think, nowadays. People talk about how there's no more conversation, water cooler conversations. Everybody splits into their own groups and are unable to communicate with one another. There used to be a time when in villages, this is a long time ago, when there was an actual physical place called the commons. It was an area within a town that people would gather together in and would share experiences, share ideas, share their fears and aspirations. People would gather together in that commons. The internet was kind of a hope for that, where everybody in the world could gather together and talk about things. But then that didn't kind of work out that way. What happened was we became isolated in our own groups and in our own places, that it's difficult to go beyond that. Because we want to hear what we want to hear. We don't want to hear what, if somebody's giving us some opposite information, say, well, no, that can't be true. It's somebody else. And I think Buddhism, and I think pretty much all traditions will tell us this, that we need to be open. We need to be able to hear. In Jodo Shinshu, this is an important part, not only Jodo Shinshu, but throughout Buddhism, to be able to hear, to listen with our whole being, with an openness, with that which Suzuki called the beginner's mind, that we can move through the world in a way that is not channeled into preconceptions, prejudices, that we can be able to kind of lower those expectations, these assumptions that we might have, and be able to hear and experience things simply as they are. In our daily lives, there are many opportunities to try this. You can experiment, listen to others that may have an opposite point of view. That may have, and it's not always going to be, oh yeah, you're right. It's not always going to be that way. But you'll be able to at least hear what that concern might be. And be able to perhaps see how another might be able to think about that in a way that is just as important, just as authentic in the way that we see and understand our views, our point, our way of seeing the world. So in this very kind of chaotic world that we're in at this point, set aside time to allow yourselves to kind of simply listen. Listen with our whole being. Hear not with our preferences, but to simply hear things as they are. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rinban Sakamoto, for that wonderful Dharma talk, and hopefully with your new AirPod 2s, you can listen. What? You're not wearing them right now. In another day, I would have thought that maybe you were listening to the ball game.
That's right.
Might have happened in the past.
No.
That's what I've heard. But no, thank you very much. That was a wonderful Dharma talk, and made me feel like, oftentimes I think that I'll hear something and I'll feel, maybe upset or angry. It's like, oh, what is this? But I think that maybe is more a reflection of what I'm thinking rather than what's actually being said. So I think that I'll try to listen more carefully or more neutrally. Save my opinions for later. Now that, if everyone could please rise for the Gatha Ondokusan II on page 76 of the Small Dharma School Service book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Are there any announcements?
Good morning, Larry Honda, Temple President for the new guy back there. Steve Ichinaga has asked me to make an announcement from, they're always asking me to do their work. So Linda announced at the 9:30 service that the next, what is it? Oh yeah, Soul Line Dancing is next Sunday, December 1st. The way she put it is, obviously this Thursday is Thanksgiving, so some of us will eat too much. For me, I'll be having too much pie and yams and potato stuffing that my wife makes that she got from her mom and all that. So Linda says, since you're going to put on weight, you might as well come and burn those calories off at the Soul Line Dancing this Sunday. That's how she phrased it. So if you don't like this message, blame her. Anyway, but seriously, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Secondly, 2 weeks from today, Rinban will talk about that we're having our annual Bodhi Day service, but after that at 3 o'clock we normally have that's the date usually of our annual meeting. So all charitable organizations have to have an annual meeting every year, and so ours is going to be held in 2 weeks at 3 o'clock. We're hoping to do a hybrid version. So in the old days we used to just have a meeting in person, but now, you know, with Zoom and everything, we're going to try doing a hybrid thing. So if you want to watch on Zoom, there's a link in the Dharma newsletter about that and on the Betsun website. But if Paul and Moss and Kevin are able to do it, we're also going to have to let people in here, and we'll run it out of the Hondo. So that's the hope. So we'll talk about what's happened this past year, how we're doing, and give you an update on the Dharma Center. And I'm not sure if we'll give you an indication of what's happening next year. Okay, so thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mai Kawamoto, the Dharma School Superintendent, and I'm here this morning to request some of your help, those of you here and those of you online. Dharma School is looking to create a pool of substitute teachers. So when our teachers who come every week and prepare lessons, sometimes they've got emergencies or they go on vacation. So would like to have a backup pool of people that would be willing and able to be a substitute. The curriculums are all set. We just need to make sure that people know what they are in advance. So would like to ask for all of your help to either think about volunteering yourself, or if you know someone who might be a good fit as a teacher, would appreciate any contacts. You can either find me at Snacks after this, or you can email me at ds-superintendent@sjbetsuin.org, or you can ask around. I think people will know how to get a hold of me, so appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. So, one more.
Sorry. So the month of December, services are going to be not different, but there'll be only one weekend, the weekend of the 15th, which will have a Dharma School 9:30 service and a 10:10 service. All the other weekends, beginning from next week, on the 1st of December, will be only a family service at 10 o'clock. And then the 8th will be a 10 o'clock service in the annex, because it'll be our Bodhi Day service. Reverend Matt Hamasaki from Sakamoto will be here as our guest speaker for that. So on the 8th, which is Hanamatsuri, right? It's the 8th, December 8th, we'll be over in the annex for the not Hanamatsuri. Thank you very much. Bodhi Day, wrong month. Bodhi, wrong time of the year. So Bodhi Day service will be 10 o'clock over in the annex. And then that's the 8th. The 15th will be the regular service. Sunday with Dharma School Mochizuki on that day. Then the 22nd and the 29th, we'll return back again to our family service at 10:10. So it's hopefully not confusing, that you'll be able to join us for these services. Thank you very much. I'm done.
And we were listening. So.
Okay.
Thank you, Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Reverend Jones, Minister's Assistants Dennis Akizuki and Sumi Tanabe, organist Colleen Tsuchimoto, and our wonderful AV coordinator Brandon Uenake. And thank all of you for joining us today, this morning, and for taking your time to come here. Feel free to, we'll now have closing Kansho, and then afterwards please come forward to do incense offering. And then please, if you have time, join us for refreshments in the garden. And if you can't, or if you don't have the time, please drive safely on your way home. Thank you very much. Closing Kansho.
Gasho, please. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Thank you very much, everyone.
Refreshments are in the annex, not the garden.